Hello everyone, this is Nupur Sharma and today we will be starting a new chapter of history, class 6, Kingdoms, Kings and an Early Republic. The topics which we are going to cover in this chapter is how some men became rulers. Second, Varna. Varna means the division of people in social classes. Then Janpadas. Janpadas means the land where people were settled down. Mahajanpadas, they were the more important land, or we can say more big Janpadas were known as Mahajanpadas. Then the taxes, why the taxes were collected, from where did they used to get the taxes. Changes in agriculture, what changes came in the agriculture. Then two important Mahajanpadas, that is Magadha and Vaji. So let's begin with our first topic, that is how some men became rulers. If we talk about today's time, how we are selecting our leaders. We are selecting our leaders by voting them. Election process take place and we give vote to the member whom we want to be our leader. Right. So we are voting and selecting our leaders. But if I talk about the history, how people used to select their kings or rulers at that time. So there were different times when and how people used to select their rulers and kings. Choosing leaders. There was a time when people themselves choose the leaders for them. Then came the time when Rajas were chosen by Janas. Janas here means again the people living in an area. So the Raja of that area was chosen by the Janas, means the Raja was chosen by the people itself. Some became Rajas by performing sacrifices. There were some people, some ruler who sacrificed something or the other and then they became Rajas. Now what were these sacrifices? What kind of sacrifices they used to make? So here is one of the sacrifice, that is Ashwamedh or horse sacrifice. That was one of such ritual. Now what used to happen in this Ashwamedh or horse sacrifice ritual? Suppose a ruler wants to stand as a king. So he has to sacrifice a horse, means a horse will roam around to other kingdoms as well, and if the rulers of those kingdoms will accept that yes, the Raja whose Ashwamedh is this, that Raja is more stronger than that king, then they would allow the horse to roam around in their kingdom. But if the other Raja thought that no, I am more powerful than this king, so he would have to fight with the other Raja of the other kingdom. So this was known as the horse sacrifice. Right. So this was one of the ritual that the ruler used to perform to become Rajas. Now another term here is Varnas. What do we mean by Varnas? As I told you here, Varnas means social classes, means division of people into social classes. What were the social classes in which the people were divided? See, the priest described how rituals were to be performed. The priest in those times used to write some books, and in those books they used to write that which person will perform which kind of ritual. It is not that each and every person was allowed to perform same rituals. It wasn't like that. So the priest used to write in their book and they described in their books that how rituals were to be performed and by whom the rituals will be performed. The groups in the society were divided into 4 classes. The first Varna means group. So the first Varna was the Brahmins, second was Kshatriyas, third was Vaishyas and last was Shudras. So this were the division of groups. In these 4 groups people were divided. Now when the people were divided in those 4 groups, they were also expected something or the other. Like the people belonging to the first group, that is the Brahmins. The Brahmins were expected to become a priest, to teach or to learn. This was what was expected from a Brahmin, to study and teach the Vedas. This was the expectation from the first Varna, that is the Brahmins. And these Brahmins only could perform such rituals. Means Brahmins were the one who could perform the rituals. Then the second Varna was the Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas were expected to fight on the battlefield. This was the expectation from the group of Kshatriyas. People belonging to this group, they were expected that they will fight in the battlefield. Third were the Vaishyas. Now, the people belonging to the Vaishyas group, the Vaishyas Varna, they were expected to do the trading work. They can be herders or they could do any trading work. And the last, that is Shudras. The Shudras was considered the last and the lowest one. People belonging to this group, they have to work for all three of them. Means the Shudras will work for Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. So this was the division of group which was made by the priests. They have described in their books that these things will be performed by these different Varnas, these different groups. And it was also said that if a person belonging to a Brahmin family, then the next generation and next to next generation will also be a Brahmin and will do the same work. Means he will study and teach. Same was expected from the other Varnas also. That belonging to the family, they will continue. They will be belonging to the same group, the coming generation, and they will do the same kind of work. Means if a person is belonging to Kshatriya group, he could not do the work of a Brahmin. Means he could not study and teach. If a person belonging to Shudras, again he couldn't do the work of Brahmins. The Shudras could not even perform any kind of rituals. They were not allowed to perform any other kind of rituals as the Brahmins. Although Kshatriyas and Vaishyas were also allowed to perform such rituals, but Shudras were not allowed to perform any such rituals. And in fact, even when the kings used to do some rituals, they used to perform some ritual, priests used to come over there. Like if I talk about this ritual, the Ashwamedha horse sacrifice ritual. What used to happen in this sacrifice, like suppose everybody accepted yes that this king is powerful and they accepted, they let the horse to roam around in their kingdoms. So that means they were satisfied that yes, the king is powerful than us. So now after the Ashwamedha or the horse returned the kingdom, what used to happen? Then the companions of the king, they used to also sit over there. The Raja was the central figure. His wives and son were supposed to be there in the rituals. They have to perform some minor rituals. And the other Rajas were also expected, they were invited there and they used to sit there as spectators. Some programs used to be there, the rituals were performed, and the ordinary people who used to come over there to see the Raja, they used to bring gifts for the Rajas. So this was how this ritual was performed. So if I talk about Shudras, this Varna was not allowed to enter here. They were not allowed to be participated in this ritual which the Raja was performing and with the other priest. So there was difference in all the Varnas. Coming to our next topic, that is Janpadas. Now, as I told you what Janpadas means, land where people settle down. There were several lands where people were settled down and they were having their own Rajas over there, their own rulers. So some important Janpadas were Purana Kila in Delhi, Hastinapur near Meerut, Atranji Khera near Etah. And in these places, what archaeologists found that people in these places used to live in huts and they have cattle. They used to have cattle, they kept cattle as well as other animals, and they also grew crops. What crops they were growing? They were growing rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugarcane, sesame and mustard. So people living in these Janpadas, in these areas, they used to have the cattle, rear their animals, and they also used to grow these crops in these Janpadas. What were the Mahajanpadas? More important Janpadas, means the bigger area which was covered by the people was known as the Mahajanpadas. Most Mahajanpadas had a capital city because it was more bigger area than a Janpada, so they were also having some capital cities. Many were fortified. What is the meaning of fortified? Fortified means that all around the kingdom there was huge wall of wood or stones. Why that huge wall of wood and stone? So that they could, because they could be saved from the attack of the other kings. That is why the kingdoms were fortified. The huge walls were built so that they could be saved from the attacks of the other kings. Forts were built. Why these forts were built? There were reason. First reason, to be protected by other kings and their kingdoms attacked. That's why these forts were built. Then the other reason why these forts were built, some Rajas want to show their wealth and power. That is why they built up all these big forts, so that by seeing those forts, the other king could make it out that yes, this Raja is more powerful. Rajas began maintaining armies. Now because they were thinking that they might be attacked by some other people, by some other king, so they started maintaining the armies. They started maintaining their armies and maintaining all the area of their kingdoms. Now, coming to the other topic, taxes, it is related to this. See, when the Rajas began maintaining armies, so for that maintenance, they needed some money. Now, the people who were there in these armies, how they were given some money, and those money was given in the form of punch-marked coins. Some coins were given to them and they were the punch-marked coins. Now coming to the next topic, that is taxes. Now from where will these Rajas get the money? They can't they can't be dependent on the people only, that the people will bring gifts and by those gifts they will give that to the other people whom they have put in their armies. So they can't be dependent on those gifts only. So they need to collect the taxes from the people. Today we are also giving the taxes to the government. Why? So that government can take care of certain things and can provide us facilities. That is why we are giving taxes, because government alone can't do everything. So what is our participation? That we are paying taxes, and by the help of those taxes the government is able to do many things for us. Those taxes are for us only. All that money which is being given to the government, that is used on us only. So in the same way, the Rajas also used to collect the taxes from the people. Now there were different taxes collected from different people. So the reason I told you why these taxes were collected, for building huge forts, first of all, protection was very important. So the Rajas have to build big, huge forts. So for building all those forts, they need money. Then for maintaining the armies also, the Rajas need money. So for all these purposes, they had to collect the taxes from the people. Then they needed money for resources, officials, to collect the taxes. Now, the taxes were taken on different things. That is, taxes on the crops. People who are growing, the farmers who are growing the crops, they have to pay the taxes to the king. Then the craft person, whatever, may it be smith or smelter, whatever the craft person was doing, out of his work also he has to give some amount of money to the king. Then herders. The herders who are herding the animals, they also have to pay some money to the king, some taxes to the king. On goods, whatever goods and services were sold, exported, on all those goods also taxes were paid. Hunter-gatherers. Hunter-gatherers had to pay their taxes in the form of whatever things they were collected from the forest. Say it maybe wood or maybe some herbs, medicinal plants. So the hunter-gatherers used to collect all these things from the forest, and they used to give these things as their taxes to the king. Means they were not having that money, but they were giving the forest produce to the king in order to pay their taxes. So these were the different forms how taxes were taken by the people. Now, the other topic is changes in agriculture. In those times, some changes came in the agriculture. What were those changes? There were two major changes at that time. The first was growing use of iron plowshares. The use of iron plowshares started growing. Why they started growing the use of iron plowshare? Because By using this iron plowshare, they could make the soil more fertile for the crops to grow. The more the soil will be fertile, the more easily and properly they would be able to grow the crops. That is why this change came in the agriculture. Earlier it wasn't like that, the iron plowshare was not used, but later they started using iron plowshare so that the soil could be made more fertile and more crops could be grown in the soil. The second big change that came in that time was people began transplanting paddy. Paddy crop, you all have heard about paddy crop. So earlier what used to happen, they just used to throw the seeds all over and the crop used to grow. Like then what they started, then they used to transplant. Later they used to transplant these paddy crops, means they sprouted the seeds first and then they will transplant those seeds on the soil. By this method they could grow more crops, more paddy could be grown. So this method was more useful than they were growing the crops earlier just by throwing the seeds on the ground. So that is why these two major changes take place. This was for the benefit only, so that more and more crops could be grown out of these methods. So these were the major changes in the agriculture. Now coming to our last point, that is Magadha and Vaji. When we talked about the Mahajanpathas, they were the two important Mahajanpathas, Magadha and Vaji, which was there were many kings, rulers over here. In Magadha there was one, and in Vaji the rule was like people in a particular group, they all considered themselves as Raja in this Mahajanpada in Vaji. But in Magadha it wasn't like that. It was only ruled by a single king. But in Vaji, the people belonging to two groups, they think that they all were the rulers, they all were the king. So I hope you understand the chapter. Thank you.